Hey, good morning. We're back here in Kansas. We're up in one of our observation um, towers here this morning, just kind of looking, glassing over some of these fields and kind of seeing what we're deer movement wise. We've got a pretty strong wind moving through here. It's going to be in the 20 mile per hour range this afternoon, but it should dip right back down into the I think 10, 11 mile per hour out of the southwest this evening. So we're actually going to actually hunt for the first time in the woods here in Kansas this evening. So it's Halloween, and I've killed some big deer in the state of Kansas on Halloween. So hopefully we at least get to see some mature bucks. Again, this is the first time I have actually will be stepping foot in our woods this year, and we've been waiting and monitoring the trail cameras, and we just feel like it's about time to step foot in there and start pressuring the wooded area a little bit more, especially in the evening. I do think that I'm actually going to bring a set of antlers and then probably do one rattling sequence this evening and kind of see the deer's reaction to that, and see if we can end up calling a big mature deer in if one didn't already move by. But the last week's or this week's recap has been pretty good, even with the rain. I've seen a couple of my big shooter deer pass on some real good deer. That pre-rut Wednesday evening would have been the first time I actually saw some pre-rut activity. I'd seen some does. They were getting dogged a little bit by some 3.5, 4.5-year-old deer the last couple of weeks, but those does just really weren't ready. But that night, there was three does and then one fawn that came through, and about 30 minutes later there was another a small buck that came through, which is pretty common. They're just kind of following them around. But then about 15 minutes after that, there was a mature deer that came through, and he was nose to the ground, really checking things out. So I think it's got to be right there at that point where things should really start kicking off. I've just waited and waited and waited, just started to see, just hoping to start seeing those big mature deer start telling those does as the pre-rut, starts fading into that rut. But this next week, it ought to be some pretty good deer hunting, really the next 2.5 weeks, with the rut. But this next week should be a pretty good week. I still am extremely conservative when it comes to where I hunt and the days that depending on the weather and for each day of hunting. So if there's a big front moving through, then I'm probably gonna be hitting it pretty hard and definitely playing that wind entry exit as well as on the stand. It's just so crucial to do that, because you educate a doe or a buck, your chances may be eliminated, of harvesting a deer out of that particular stand. So just kind of keep that in mind. I know everybody likes to hunt their favorite stand during the rut, but picking those particular days out, and then morning and the evening, depending on movement wise, it can definitely play a pretty big role, in success. So I'll be hunting pretty hard next week. We're sitting here in Kansas right now. I'll be moving back into Oklahoma later on in the week, and then midweek I should be hunting Missouri pretty heavy. So we look forward to next week. There's a lot of deer that I've passed, there's some really good, decent deer that I've passed just to, if the deer's 4.5-year-old, he never gets to 5.5. If you end up harvesting that deer, and that's only if you're after that. I'll be the first one to shake your hand, congratulate you, if you're proud of that deer that you've harvested, regardless of the age. So I absolutely love hunting big mature whitetails, and I try to get them to the maximum antler growth as I possibly can, and then start targeting those deer. But I know that's not for everybody. Right now we do have the Bone View giveaway for and that should end Monday evening. I'll get two people drawn there, both choosing either an Android or an Apple setup, and we'll get those things in the mail to you pretty quick. So other than that, I've got the trail cameras have been producing pretty good, especially in the evening. That's one thing I want to touch on is right now, if I want to pick a morning or an evening sit, I'm gonna pick evening 9 times out of 10, unless I got a big mature deer moving through in the morning that I know that I've got a pretty good chance of harvesting. If you do end up picking the hunt in the mornings, I would highly recommend getting between that bedding and then that food source where that deer's coming, and then as this next week progresses, I would get a little bit closer and closer and closer into those bedding areas, because those bucks are really going to start checking those bedding areas out to see if there's any does that have come into heat there. So we'll get on with the hunt here. I hope you guys have a great Halloween. Get the kids involved if you're able to, and like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature, and best luck on your guys' upcoming hunt.